My girlfriend forced me to choose a beach house and my inheritance. So, I chose to end a relationship instead. I'm 34 years old. The past few months have been a whirlwind of revelations, betrayals, and tough decisions. But I need to share this story, if only to help process everything that happened. For 3 years, Nikki and I built what I thought was a solid relationship. We moved in together after a year of dating, sharing a comfortable apartment and what seemed like a genuine connection. We had the same taste in obscure indie movies, could spend hours discussing true crime podcasts, and loved trying out new recipes together on lazy Sundays. Our friends called us the perfect match. I really thought we were. Then came the inheritance. My grandfather passed away last year, leaving me with what he'd built through decades of careful investing. We're talking about the kind of money that could set someone up for life if managed properly. When the executor of the estate first told me the amount, I had to sit down. It wasn't just money, it was responsibility, opportunity, and as I'd soon learn, a powerful lens through which to view relationships. I kept the inheritance to myself initially, not out of distrust, but because I needed time to process everything, both emotionally and practically. My grandfather had been more than just family. He was my mentor and friend. My grandfather had left detailed letters explaining his investment philosophy and hopes for how the money would be used. This isn't just money, he'd written. It's opportunity and responsibility wrapped together. Use it to build a stable foundation, not a showy mansion. Those words would prove prophetic in ways I couldn't have imagined. Looking back, I should have noticed the first red flags when I finally told Nikki. We were having dinner at home. I carefully explained about the inheritance and my plans for it. The shift in her expression was subtle, but unmistakable. Her eyes took on a calculating gleam that I'd never seen before. "Baby, this is amazing," she exclaimed, but something in her tone felt off. "We should celebrate. Maybe we could take that trip to the Maldives we always talked about." We had never talked about the Maldives. The changes in her behavior started small. She began casually leaving tabs open on our shared laptop to luxury car websites. Her Instagram follows suddenly included high-end real estate accounts and luxury lifestyle bloggers. She started talking about our future with increasing frequency, but these conversations always seemed to circle back to expensive purchases. Then came the beach house obsession. It started innocently enough. Sarah's boyfriend just bought them the cutest beach house in the Hamptons, she mentioned one evening, scrolling through her phone. "Look at these views." The house she showed me was listed at $3.2 million. I explained my position clearly. While the inheritance was substantial, I wanted to be smart about it. My plan was to invest the majority, perhaps buy a reasonable primary residence, and ensure long-term financial security. A multi-million dollar vacation home wasn't part of that equation. That's when I started noticing more concerning behaviors. She'd leave her laptop open to accidentally display beach house listings. Our mutual friends would casually mention how they'd heard we were house hunting. She even started a Pinterest board titled Our Beach House Dreams and shared it with her entire family. My first concrete step toward protecting myself came after I noticed unusual activity in our joint account. Small at first, increased shopping trips, unexplained withdrawals for girls' nights that seemed to happen more frequently. I started keeping detailed records of all transactions and set up alerts for any activity over $500. The real wake-up call came when I overheard her on the phone with her sister. I hadn't meant to eavesdrop, but as I approached our bedroom to grab my charger, her words stopped me cold. "He's just being stubborn about the beach house. Once we're married, it won't matter. I'll have access to everything anyway. His grandfather left him millions, Sarah, millions. He's just being selfish, not wanting to share it." That night, I contacted a lawyer and began documenting everything. I installed a call recording app on my phone, checking first that we were in a one-party consent state. I started backing up all our text conversations and emails. I even began keeping a detailed journal of all our interactions regarding money. Each day seemed to bring new revelations as I began paying closer attention to Nikki's behavior. I created a secure cloud folder to organize all the evidence, categorizing everything meticulously. As the folder grew, so did my understanding of just how calculated her actions had become. The evidence gathered quickly, painting a disturbing picture of manipulation and entitlement. A growing collection of screenshots from her social media posts, starting with subtle hints about engagement rings and evolving into full-blown wedding planning posts, complete with venue details and dates, all without any actual proposal or agreement from me. Over 30 recordings of conversations where she either admitted to or attempted to justify making financial decisions without my consent, including several where she openly discussed her plans to access my inheritance once we were married. A detailed log of her escalating demands and manipulation tactics with dates, times, and specific quotes that showed the progression from subtle hints to outright threats. Dozens of emails she'd sent to real estate agents, in which she claimed to represent both of us, and even forged my digital signature on viewing requests and information forms. A comprehensive spreadsheet tracking every unauthorized transaction from our joint account, including several attempts to set up automatic payments for wedding vendors I never agreed to hire. Text messages she'd sent to friends describing her plans to lock down the inheritance through marriage, which one guilty conscience friend had forwarded to me. Documentation of her attempts to isolate me from friends who expressed concern about her behavior, including screenshots of messages where she'd tried to turn them against me with false accusations. A series of increasingly desperate emails to wedding planners, interior designers, and contractors, all operating under the assumption of access to funds she didn't have records of her secretly meeting with real estate agents during her lunch breaks, which I discovered through credit card statements showing multiple appointments at cafes near high-end property listings. Screenshots of her browser history revealed searches for how to access spouse's inheritance and marriage property rights when she made that $50,000 deposit from our joint account. I was ready. I had already transferred most of my money out, leaving just enough for regular expenses. Every conversation about it was recorded, every email saved, every text message backed up. The confrontation, when it finally happened, was both exactly what I'd anticipated and somehow still surprising in its intensity. I'd prepared myself mentally for this moment, but nothing quite readies you for watching someone's mask completely slip away. That evening, I'd made sure to have my phone recording and position my laptop to capture video of our shared living space, not out of paranoia, but from a growing understanding of how volatile the situation might become. I'd also asked my friend to be on standby nearby, just in case things escalated. The moment I started putting her suitcases on the bed, Nikki's tactics unfolded like a well-rehearsed play, though I could see the panic behind her eyes as each approach failed. I didn't do anything wrong. How dare you act like I'm some kind of criminal? That deposit was for our future. Don't you want us to have a beautiful life together? You're completely overreacting. This is normal couple behavior. The emotional manipulation came next, complete with carefully timed tears. If you loved me, you'd understand why I did this. I can't believe you're choosing money over our relationship. After everything I've sacrificed for you, what about all the years I stood by you before you had money? As I continued methodically packing her things, sorting her clothes from mine, and carefully documenting everything on my phone's camera, she escalated to threats. I'll tell everyone you promised me the beach house. What will your family think when they hear how you've treated me? You'll never find anyone who loves you like I do. I'll make sure everyone knows what kind of person you really are. When the threats didn't move me, she attempted false remorse. Baby, please, I'm so sorry. I got carried away. We can work this out. I'll go to therapy. Let me make it up to you. We can look at cheaper properties. I'll sign whatever prenup you want. Just please don't do this. Finally, as she realized none of it was working, she resorted to more aggressive threats. You'll regret this. I'll make sure of it. I know things about you that would ruin your life. You think you could just throw me away? Watch what happens. I'll take you for everything you have. Throughout her performance, I maintained a calm, almost detached demeanor, which only seemed to infuriate her more. I had prepared responses to each of her tactics. The deposit was illegal without my consent. All our conversations about this have been recorded. Please direct any further threats to my lawyer. You have 30 days to remove your remaining belongings. The real shift came when she realized I'd already transferred most of my money out of our joint account. Her face went through a fascinating transformation: shock, rage, then a kind of grudging respect, quickly replaced by pure fury. She clearly counted on having access to those funds for longer. When her sister arrived to pick her up, Nikki made one final attempt at manipulation, loudly sobbing about how cruel and controlling I was being. Her sister, however, seemed more embarrassed than sympathetic, especially when I calmly showed her the documentation of the unauthorized $50,000 deposit. "I'll get her stuff this weekend," her sister mumbled, practically dragging Nikki to the car. But I was prepared for all of it. When she tried to claim I had promised her the beach house, I had documented evidence proving otherwise. When she threatened to tell people I was financially controlling, I had her own social media posts contradicting her claims. When she tried to argue about the lease, I already had documentation showing I'd been paying 100% of the rent from my personal account. The aftermath of the confrontation stretched over several tension-filled weeks. I had my locks changed the very next morning, installed security cameras at my front and back doors, and made sure my landlord and neighbors were aware of the situation. I also froze my credit and set up alerts for any new accounts opened in my name, a precaution my lawyers strongly recommended given Nikki's access to my personal information. In the days and weeks that followed, she launched a multi-pronged campaign to either regain control of the situation or punish me for ending things. Each attempt was met with the same response: "Please direct all communication through my lawyer." The documentation I'd gathered protected me from her accusations and manipulation attempts. The most satisfying moment came during the property division process. She tried to claim she'd contributed equally to our household expenses, but I had maintained perfect records showing otherwise. When she attempted to take items she hadn't paid for, I produced receipts showing they'd been purchased with my personal funds, not our joint account. Looking back, I'm grateful for my grandfather's inheritance, but not for the obvious reasons. Yes, the money will help secure my future, but more importantly, it revealed the true nature of my relationship before I made an even bigger commitment. It showed me who Nikki really was when she thought there was something to gain. The experience taught me valuable lessons about trust, documentation, and the importance of maintaining clear boundaries. I've since invested the inheritance wisely, bought a comfortable but not extravagant home for myself, and am focusing on personal growth. The beach house listings still pop up occasionally in my social media feed, but now they just make me smile, reminders of a bullet dodged and a lesson learned. Sometimes the most valuable thing money can give you isn't what you can buy with it, but what it reveals about the people in your life. In my case, it showed me exactly who I was dealing with and gave me the strength to walk away before it was too late. These days, I'm rebuilding my life on my own terms. The house I bought isn't on the beach, but it's mine, and more importantly, it's filled with peace instead of manipulation. Sometimes the best investment you can make isn't in property or stocks, but in protecting yourself from people who see you as nothing more than a means to an end. As for Nikki, last I heard, she's dating some local entrepreneur, and her Instagram is full of luxury car dealership visits and high-end real estate tours. Some people never change, but thankfully, some of us learn to spot them before it's too late. Thank you so much for listening to my story. If you have any thoughts, I'd love to hear them, so please leave a comment. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want more stories like this one.